The Hidden Village by Zoe Chen。 大家好，我是陈子毅。今天的故事主要是介绍布农族曲冰部落的一些故事。我在今年西元2024年的1月底去了曲冰部落游玩，印象最深刻的就是他们的故事墙。解释的大哥哥讲了很多关于他们部落发生的故事，我挑选了其中3个，分别是猎杀了5位赛德克族人的喜马恩故事、姐妹园事件，以及被赛德克族抓走的布农妇女故事，分享给你们听，希望你们也能听得津津有味。
Hello there, I'm Zoe the Snake, your guide for the day. I'm not just any snake, I'm the 100 Pacer. You may wonder why 100 Pacer is your guide. I mean, I'm poisonous, and rumor has it, if I bite you, you can only walk 100 steps before you die. That's just a myth. We're actually friends of the Bunong people. They admire our pattern, and we use it to make clothes. We used to have a hard past, but later we made amends, and now they respect us. That's why we can walk freely into their houses without being killed. In fact, 100 Pacer is like a guardian to many indigenous tribes in Taiwan. So don't be afraid of my name and my look. Now let's get started. Today, we are going to be touring one of the villages in the Bunong tribe, Chubing. Chubing is close to the geographical center of Taiwan, and it is also the northernmost distribution of the Bunong people in Taiwan. It is located in Wanfeng Village, Ren'ai Township, Nantou County, and neighboring the Alang Pulang tribe, Songling Bulo of the Sidik, 赛德克族, and Alang Sashi tribe, 亲爱部落 of the Ataya, 泰雅族. This first story was pretty intense. I wouldn't suggest kids under the age of 5 to listen, or anyone who doesn't like killing in general. But it was also how the Simaun tribe got its name, so for the sake of education, I will make sure not to make it sound that scary. One day, the Simaun tribe found a house on the side of their border. It didn't belong to their tribe, but the Sidik. They went back and told the leader. They wanted to claim their rights to the land and banish those outsiders living in the house. They then started making plans. Their plan was making mochis, but those aren't for humans to eat, but for the dogs who guarded the house. That's right, you didn't hear it wrong. Their plan was to make the dog eat it and its teeth would get stuck. When the Bunong tried to sneak in, it wouldn't be able to bark. They successfully raided the house and killed most of the Sidiks inside. They left only one to go back to warn his villagers. He did. Turns out he brought back his whole village to fight with the Bunong. Now, you may wonder how the story relates to the tribe Simaun. Well, Simaun has the meaning of 5, and this is to say they hunted 5 Sidik people in one day. The second story is also from history. It held the record of when the Japanese wrote Taiwan. It was an unpleasant past between Bunong and Sidik. In 1902, when the Japanese ruled Taiwan, they forbid life necessities like salt, ironware, cloth, and gunpowder from being provided to the Sidik. The Japanese also used their hatred between the tribes to devise an evil plan, where they let the 2 tribes kill each other. How crafty. In 1903, the Japanese incited the Bunong to pretend to trade with the Sidik. The Bunong offered to trade salt with other goods, which was what the Sidik needed. They didn't think much of it, and had their strongest people go to the border of Bunong and Sidik called Jeme Yuan. They fell right into the trap. The Bunong woman set a feast. The Sidik took off their armor and got drunk during the feast. Just then, the leader explained, Tais an ki a in a takukula, which basically means it's time to hunt. The killing had begun. A lot of Sidiks died. After that, the Sidik became weaker, which was just how the Japanese wanted. That was the infamous Jeme incident. Such a killer, right? Finally, we made it to the last story of the day. Forgive me for being a bit brutal, but you know how 100 Pacer can be. This next story is my favorite. I would always ask my granny to read it to me as a bedtime story when I was little. It was a legend going around in our village. It's so spooky yet sad in the beginning, but you will see bravery and encouragement in the end. Once upon a time, there was a woman working in the fields, but her mind was somewhere else, like in another dimension. She daydreamed about her husband, who was away on a hunting trip. Lunchtime rolled around, and everyone went inside except for her. Unfortunately, the rival Cetic saw her all alone and kidnapped her. But when the Cetic brought her back, they found out she was pregnant. A couple months later, she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. In the indigenous people's culture, boys go hunting and girls go knitting, cooking, etc. So after the Bunong boy grew up, the Cetic took him on their hunting trips to the mountains. But weirdly, he would come back every day with scars all over his body. His mother questioned what happened, but the Cetic all said he accidentally tripped himself. The mother didn't believe it. She came up with a plan. One day, as the men were about to go hunting again, she told them she was sick and needed the boy's help to take care of her, so they gave the boy a day off. After they left, the boy finally spilled the tea and told his mom what really happened in the woods. They were actually abusing him, pushing him up down the cliffs and hitting him with rocks. His mom was very enraged. How dare they treat her son like that? It was at that moment she knew she needed to make a run for it. But first, she needed to prepare a ton of food on the road, because it would be a long-lasting expedition. The mother started making mochis day after day. They really do like mochis. One night, when all the mochis were ready, they packed their bags and took off into the woods. They ran and ran until their legs were sore and could no longer hold their body. They followed the marks on the made-out tree Mom made years ago, or at least they tried to, since the marks had wore out. Just then, they heard the sound of dogs barking. It was the Cetics coming closer. They had noticed they were gone. To avoid being caught, the mother and son followed the sound of the water to a waterfall, where the water washed out their scent and hid them from the Cetics. After the coast was clear, they got back on the road. A couple days later, they made it back to their village. You thought it was a happy ending story? No way! This is not a fairy tale. Turns out, she found her husband had married another woman because they thought she had passed away. Twist again. The husband announced, "Let's all live together." The end. That concludes our tour. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all had fun and learned about some history and culture of this beautiful tribe through these tales. Even though there was a lot of killing, all the tribes are at peace now and everyone is friends with each other. Hi, this is the author speaking. Just wanted to say that the Bunong tribe is so sweet, and I learned and saw so much in the 2 days I was there. I also love the food there. The bamboo tube rice was very unique, and I love smashing it.